Welcome students for online classes. So today we'll continue with the unit 5 major problems of Indian economy, that was about unemployment. In the earlier session we had studied about the types of unemployment, and in this session we'll study about the causes, consequences and measures of unemployment. So first let's study about the causes of unemployment. First one is about underdevelopment. So what is about underdevelopment? Underdevelopment tells about even after our Indian people getting independence, what happens, there is no proper employment opportunities in the economy. Even if there are employment opportunities in the economy, what is happening, only the skilled person, only the educated person is being employed. Even in some of the places, what happens, even the educated person is not being given a proper employment opportunities or the job opportunities. So when there is underdevelopment in the economy, what happens, automatically it will affect to the consumption process, it will automatically affect to the percentage of the income, and it will even affect to the standard of living of the people. So what happens, when there will be development, only when a particular individual goes to the job, when he earns money, when he will have a standard life, only then there will be development in the economy. But what happens under unemployment, normally the people will not get proper employment, which leads to the major percentage of the decrease in the growth rate. So this is one of the major causes for unemployment. Next one is about rapid growth of population. Normally what happens when there is rapid growth of population, when there will be increase in the population, even will there be increase in the job opportunities? No. If for example in a office only 10 members can be accommodated or recruited, what happens at that point of time, even the growth rate or even the population increases, nothing will be affecting the job opportunities. Only a limited number of people will be recruited to that particular job. So what happens at this point of time, it is very much important for our economy to reduce the birth rate, so that everybody in the economy can have a proper job opportunity, so that they lead their life happily. Next thing is about lack of irrigational facilities. So how does the lack of irrigation facilities affect the unemployment? So what happened, we had studied under types of unemployment, that was about seasonal unemployment. So irrigation is a kind of agricultural thing. So when I come to agricultural thing, what happens, for a whole year the agricultural person will not be employed, only for a certain percentage of a time, or when there is what irrigation tells, there should be either rain or there should be a proper water facility for the plantation. So when there is no proper water facility to the plantation, what happens, it leads to the seasonal unemployment thing. So only for a particular period of time the person will be employed, and later on the leftover time the particular person will be unemployment. That is about the lack of irrigational facilities. Next one is about rural urban migration. So what happens, normally the rural people or the village people will tend to travel to urban cities, so that they have a good job over the cities. So what happens, for example, in rural area there will be a job, even in urban areas there will be job. So when I compare, or maybe the income level or the salary which I am telling, that will be only limited under rural areas, but when I compare it to the urban cities, what happens, it will be a hike of the doubling thing of the salary which we get into the rural area. So because of this, the people starts to travel from rural area to urban places just to the job opportunities. So at this point of time, will that particular person get the job or not, that is left to that person. At this point of time, what happens, when the person will not get a job during the migration process, that is known as the major cause under the unemployment process. Even if he has education, even if he has skill, what is very much important, the job opportunities is very much important. If in a particular company there are no vacancies, what happens at that particular point of time, it is very much difficult for an individual to get recruited to that particular place. So migration or moving from rural to urban is one of the major cause for the unemployment. Next is about defective educational system. So what our education system tells, our education system only explains about the economy, how the economy should be, how our history was, how what did the kings do, how did they fight, what things happened. And when I come to the other sector part, what is known as chemical integration, all these things we will study under our schooling process. So what is very much necessary, it is very much necessary for our schoolings to tell or explain about the job criteria. For example, now what we study will not be coming to our job process. So thinking about the job process and leading the life is one of the very much major constraint under the unemployment thing. Next thing is about use of modern technology. So what happens when the technology changes, we need to upgrade ourselves to the modern technology. For example, I'll give you the network thing. What happens, we had 2G, we had 3G, we had 4G, nowadays 5G is coming. So this is the increase in the upgradation of the network or network technology, or I can even tell as the internet speed. So what happens at this point of time, no, I like only 2G, so that I can only use my older cell phones, and I want only 2G, so I cannot sit in that particular situation. So why are we using all these network? Just to speed ourselves, just to increase our knowledge, just to know new things of the economy. So this is one of the major example for you. So what happens in the modern technology, when the technology changes, even our economy should adjust to that particular technology. Only then there will be development in our economy, only then there will be new companies coming to our economy, only then we can even do a self employment in the economy. So by this what happens, modern technology also plays a major role under unemployment. Even why is this a big cause? This is a big cause because the people in the economy doesn't know how to use the modern technology. They need to study about that, they need to know the detailed things about the modern technology. Only then the individual can do anything better process under the modern technology. So this is one of the major constraint under the under unemployment. Next thing is about decay of small and cottage industry. So what does decay mean? Decay under this particular context means decrease. Okay, so what is either decrease or either not being seen. So what happens at this point of time, only the large companies or large industries are becoming more profitable thing in the economy. In spite of that, what happens, the small scale and the cottage industries are being not being seen in the economy. So when I go back to the colonial rule, when I go back to the British rule, what happens at that particular point of time, the Britain started stopping our handicrafts, started stopping our export thing. So that is also one of the major constraint for us in the current era or the current scenario. What happens at this point of time, just because our resources were depleted at that particular point of time, even now we cannot use all these things. Only the people, or only the economical people were used in the agriculture. The Britain people wanted our economical person to do all the necessary things for their economy or for their market, for their international market. Because of this, what happens, the decay of small and cottage industries started increasing. Next thing is about the jobless growth. So it means that it is a situation where the production increases without corresponding increase in employment, where it comes under the disguised unemployment. So what did we study under the types of disguised unemployment? It means even if a particular individual works, or even if that particular individual doesn't work, what happens, our output will be of a certain percentage, of a good percentage, that is known as disguised unemployment. So even that happens under the jobless growth, so which is one of the major cause of unemployment. So what happens, even a particular individual is working in a particular firm, even he is not giving any of his productive work to that particular firm, that is known as jobless growth. And even what happens, the increase in unemployment opportunities is one of the major thing under jobless growth, where the production of the economy has been increasing in spite of increasing in the employment opportunities also. The last thing under the causes is about recession in international market. Recession in the sense, maybe any kind of loss in the market, any kind of loss in a particular company. So this is known as the recession in the international market. Why international market? When any problem arises in the international market, maybe in Europe, maybe in America, maybe in any kind of Arab countries, what happens at that particular point of time? It will be very difficult for the people in India to export things, to import things. So this is one of the major problem. When there will be no trading of the goods from any countries to other countries, what happens? The unemployment increases. The people might taken out of their jobs, like nowadays what is happening due to corona. The people who have gone out of the India just to search their jobs, they have been coming back. So this is also the recession in international market, where based on the international market also Indian economy can come down, or the unemployment will start increasing. These are the causes of unemployment. Next thing is about the consequences of unemployment. So first one is about wastage of productive resources. So what the wastage of productive resources, I can tell you or give an example of educated unemployed. So what happens? The particular individual is been having resource. The resource may be the skill, maybe the knowledge, maybe knowing any kind of things, maybe any good information. So even in spite of that, that particular individual is not been employed in any particular firm or company or industry. So what happens? Automatically there will be a wastage of productive resource. Next thing is about low level of output. Even you know how to give the result in the economy, even in spite of that, what happens? You cannot give any particular contribution. Why can't you contribute anything to the economy? Just because you're not employed, just because you're not employee, or you're not working in any particular area, which leaves the economy to a lower level of the output, or the resultant thing, maybe in the productivity, maybe in the human capital formation. Human capital formation in the sense, maybe by giving education, maybe by having skill, that is known as human capital formation. Okay. So even in spite you in individual having a proper knowledge, what happens? You are not allowed, or you are not being given any kind of contribution to the economy. That is known as low level of output. Next thing is about increase in poverty. So why will the poverty comes? When the particular individual will be having no minimum basic needs. So when you, why do you need minimum basic needs? To lead your life. So when will you have all these things? Only when you have money. So what is major criteria to have money? You being employed in one particular area. So to you being employed, which is automatically connected to income level, which leads to poverty. If you are unemployed, you will be having no money. So you will be not allowed to purchase any kind of things from the economy, or you are not allowed to give any kind of things to the economy. So which leads to the poverty, or which I can even tell, which can lead to the increase in the poverty. And lastly, about increase in economic burden. So what happens? I can give a major example for economic burden as a rapid growth of population. So what happens when there is rapid growth of population? There will be no proper employment opportunities. Even the education for each and every individual in the home is very much difficult to give by their parents. So because of this, what happens? There will be increase in the unemployed people in the working process. So this is known as increase in the economic burden. So the last thing is about measures to eradicate unemployment. Eradicate in the sense to reduce unemployment. First thing is about control on population. This is one of the major thing everybody in the economy should get to know, that controlling the population, maybe any kind of campaigns, maybe any kind of trainings, maybe any kind of information should be given to everybody in the economy about the birth control measures, which is very much important. Next one is about improvement in education system. This is about not only improving your education personally, your skill, your knowledge. In spite of that, you knowing about the vocational training, or you know about the technical education. So what does technical education tells? Not only you studying whatever is there in the syllabus, in spite of that, what is going on in the economy, what are the current affairs, who are the political parties ruling in our economy, what happens if we contribute this particular thing to the economy, will it be a future positive thing or will it be a negative thing. All these things should be taught in the educational system. Lastly, about accelerating growth rate of GDP. Accelerating in the sense increasing the growth rate of GDP. What does the word GDP mean? Gross domestic product, which means production in a particular year, production which is made in a year. So not only the production of food grains, even the production of the consumer durables, maybe vegetables, maybe fruits, maybe any kind of industrial things, maybe cotton, everything comes under GDP. So increasing in the GDP, having a better production criteria is also one of the major thing in the economy. By doing all these things, what happens, we can suggest our economy to have a proper employment. Even having self employment is one of the measures to reduce unemployment. When you do self employment, what happens, you will be giving job to many unemployed, so which is one of the positive things. So these are the measures to reduce the unemployment. Thank you, students.